Plaintiff Royce Mathis owns an Italian restaurant in Dallas, Texas, and his waitresses are transgenders who impersonate female celebrities and perform a dinner show. Royce claims the defendant vandalized his restaurant by punching his window, causing it to shatter, so he's suing for the property damage. Defendant Eddie Cerritos says on the night in question, he'd just been kicked out of a club for fighting with his ex-boyfriend. Eddie says he was angry, and although he admits to punching Royce's window out of frustration, he insists he meant to punch the wall.
Prove your case.
I own a Italian restaurant in a predominantly gay neighborhood of Dallas. It's coined the Gayborhood, and the name of my restaurant is Hung Dinger. It's a fun restaurant that has transgendered waitresses that serve up excellent Italian food, and later we have a dinner drag show that is hosted by a Cher impersonator who introduces my Hung Diva cast, which includes Ivana Tramp as Tina Turner and Roxy Devine as Bette Midler. We try and make the restaurant lots of fun, Your Honor. We put the menus on vinyl records of old divas, well, not so old divas, but Whitney Houston and Aretha Franklin, Cher, Madonna, of course, and the biggest diva, Elton John. And then we end the night by giving their check in a very gaudy sort of drag queen type pump. I do have a small, fun video clip that if you'd like to see the restaurant's atmosphere, it's available.
Let's see.
Honey, what do you want from me? This is happening.
Share. All right. Look like they're having a lot of fun. Do you broadcast my show there?
No, we don't have cable attached to it.
The reason so, I had a gay gentleman from Dallas come here, and he says my show is extremely popular among the gay community, and he said I'm known as the hottest judge on television. You don't remember that? Guy came in, he did. He said that.
Without a doubt, I would agree.
I was proud to hear it, even though I'm, not bisexual or homosexual at all, but it was flattering to know I was the hottest judge on television. The hottest. And hopefully the women think that too. I don't know, but at least I got some praise about
that's great.
You hang out there?
No, I've never been.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
The reason why I brought up the restaurant is because vandalism was committed at my property, and so that's the reason why I wanted to talk a little bit about it. But after in the wee morning hours of Sunday, July 5th, my bartender and I heard this loud commotion, some yelling, some banging, and as it came up closer, we saw the defendant and three girls started approaching my bar window. To my surprise...
So you haven't been there yet, but you were trying to break in that night, Doc. You said, I got to see it one way or the other.
Yeah, I had to go check it out.
Go ahead.
To my surprise, the defendant punches the window, and to a bigger surprise, the window shatters, and the only thing that keeps it together is the tinted laminate that I actually had on the window. After the shock was over, we ran out and chased after the defendant.
How many you chased him? How many you had a crowd of transvestites chasing?
Oh, no.
Come back here!
Go ahead. So you all began chasing him. What happened?
Right. So he was stutter-stepping. He didn't know whether to run or not. And so my bartender told me, Royce, get back to the restaurant. It's vulnerable because of the damage. And he went off. I had no idea what was going on. I just started taping up the window. He had called 911, my bartender, and asked us to go ahead and flag down a police officer if we could find one. And I actually got out in the street and waved down a police officer, explained that we actually nabbed the person that busted the window. And he just told me to safely leave the street, and he would go to the place where we abducted the person. Yes, when I finally arrived at the scene, the defendant was in handcuffs.
Let me hear his side before we get to what happened later.
Okay. Well, Judge, I'd like to, state my side of the story. Me and my friends went out on 4th of July weekend. We went to a club that's right around the corner from his restaurant. We were having fun. One of my exes showed up with another guy. The other guy starts running his mouth, saying stuff at me. They both start saying stuff at me.
What was he telling you? I snatched. I took your ass. Nah.
Well, he
he's
could have
all
him. He
mine
wasn't
now.
worth it.
Go ahead.
But yeah, we were, we got kicked out of the club for, pushing and shoving. It got taken outside. We were leaving the club, and I was angry of what just happened. And then my friends weren't helping because they were all over the place too. So we did approach his window, and yes, a punch was thrown.
You took it out on his window.
It wasn't done intentionally though. I really did not, I was meaning to punch the wall, not the window. The cops were called. I was handcuffed. And
did it result in prosecution? And
no, I got taken into detox, which is where you go spend the night, supposedly when you're intoxicated, to let that get out of your system, and then you're released.
Is that
the next
about
day.
right? That's about what happened.
Well,
to
I
your
think
knowledge?
that he had intentions of causing damage. In fact, we have a eyewitness, just a citizen on the street who saw the whole scene that I have that person's witness consent form. I've also got another witness that works at
You can give me the
adjacent
statement,
restaurant.
but he admits to attempting to damage or assault, for lack of a better term, part of your property. That would be intent to commit malicious destruction of property. So he's liable. Have you all discussed anything since then, after he was released from jail?
I found the defendant handcuffed, and we got the details of his age, and the police officers writing all this down for my behalf. The kid is basically a year older than my nephew. And I felt very, very bad for him because he genuinely convinced me in front of 2 police officers and 3 eyewitnesses that he would take care of the damages. So I didn't press charges or attach a felony for vandalism to his name. I was raised by my parents to believe that people are inherently good, and that we know good from bad. And he genuinely convinced me that he would come back Tuesday, July 7th, and pay for the damages. All these
he
wonderful
promised
things.
and has not delivered, obviously.
No.
Sir, why haven't you paid? And did you promise, first of all?
I did tell him that.
Why haven't you?
I told him I would contact him on Tuesday, which we did contact each other. Fortunately, my mother did not have the funds available. I did contact family members, friends. I did everything to try to get the money.
Did you let him know you were
yes, and I did tell him
in
that.
financial hardships?
Yes, and he told me he didn't want to hear my
friends?
story. He said, I don't want to hear your sad story. I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, and I apologized. He didn't want to hear it.
So that's your only defense is poor mouth? The older generation knows what that means. A lot of the young folks don't.
But yeah, I'm a full-time student. I work full-time. Unfortunately, I did lose my job last week, so I'm not employed right now.
All right, I'm sure he'll give some compassion. What's that?
Maybe he can work it off. Just dress up as Cher or something.
Oh, that's a good one. There you go.
I think I'm too big for Cher.
I would totally agree to have him come to and dress up and be part of the show. So,
Sir, you have 30 days in which to pay $2,000. Alternatively, you must appear at his club and dress up as a female impersonator to entertain others. So you have your choice.
Okay.
We got some
But I don't think I can
outfits
find
in the
shoes in my
back. No?
size.
I won't do that to you on national television. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Have a good one.